What's going on, Notre Dame fans? Mike Singer and Tim Hyde with our final thoughts and observations before Notre Dame and UNLV clash inside Notre Dame Stadium. A 4-3 UNLV team coming to South Bend. It's a 2:30 p.m. kickoff, and it's streaming only on Peacock. So it's time to start Googling how do you sign up for Peacock or all that good stuff. So take a quick peek at this UNLV team. They've beaten Idaho State, which I think that's an FCS program. Lost to a Cal team that Notre Dame beat at home 14-20. Knocked off North Texas. Beat Utah State on the road. New Mexico got blown out by San Jose State and blown out by Air Force. So not a great showing these past couple weeks. And you would think if they lost to Air Force 42-7 at home, that they won't fare well at Notre Dame. And that's what you would think, Tim. So who knows what we'll see Saturday, but we're going to give you our keys to the game. Tim, key number one, you're talking Drew Pyne, and you mentioned here his 3-1 record as Notre Dame starting quarterback.
Exactly. He's 3-1. He's only had 4 starts. And I think sometimes we lose focus on that with the loss, obviously, to Stanford, but he was the backup this year. Notre Dame is playing with their backup quarterback. I like to say he was the third stringer last year with Jack Cohn, and they had the special package for Buckner. Obviously, Pyne got in the 2 games, but then we didn't see him the rest of the season. So Pyne has not played a lot of football, and I think we need to sit back, realize that he's 3-1. The 3 wins, Mike, over 70%. Outstanding football in those games. The 2 games you went North Carolina and Brigham Young, his efficiency rating was over 170 in both of those games. And then last week he took a huge dip, under 50% throwing, and only an efficiency rating of 107, which going into last week's game, he had a Notre Dame record for quarterbacks over 100 passes right there. So Pyne has played really good football. He played one really bad football game, was very inaccurate and whatnot in that game. So get back on the groove, get him going against UNLV, a program that's struggled the last 2 games. I'm not predicting a blowout or anything whatsoever. Win by 1, get some confidence, and let's get ready for Syracuse the next week.
I don't think Notre Dame winning by 1 point would get any confidence, Tim, but I understand your point. So when you think about Notre Dame in the football program from the outside looking in, you certainly will, the offensive line and tight end tradition will come to mind and all the greats they've had at those 2 positions. And Freeman is not trying to turn Notre Dame into something it's not right now. He wants an O-line center program, and that's key number 2 for you.
Yes. Once again, it's the improvement of this offensive line from Ohio State until last week, and, obviously they lost to Stanford, but their running game, Estime had over 7 yards a carry. Diggs had over 6 yards a carry. They ran the ball with their running backs for over 150 yards. Very good production in the run game that they had going. They just didn't sustain drives because they didn't complete passes on 3rd down to keep drives going. So, but the O-line was on pace to a dominant rushing night last week against Stanford. They just didn't control the ball a lot, and I think that was the thing. But I saw a lot of improvement, a lot of really good things that they're doing up front. And then same thing with Drew Pyne. You could say the same thing with this O-line. They've only been together for a handful of games. Let's don't forget. And then, another thing real quick with the O-line is there's out of these 5 starters, Joe Alt is the only guy returning who played at that position last year. And I think we lose focus with that sometimes. Patterson was a 3-year starter at center. Zeke was a left guard last year. We hadn't seen Zeke play center since the Alabama game, in 2020. Lugg has been a right tackle. We haven't seen him start. And obviously Blake Fisher, as much promise as he has and whatnot, he's only played 7 games, all at right tackle. You saw him play live, Mike. He's always been a left tackle in high school.
He played left against Florida State, but then got hurt.
No, exactly. That's what I mean. So he's only played the 6 games at right. The 7th game, meaning the Fiesta Bowl, where he had a couple hours to get ready for that game in the Fiesta Bowl. So not to make excuses or anything, it is a young group. Coach Heastan, new staff, those guys, whatnot, and they're still gelling together, and they have shown a lot of improvement since the Marshall game. And I'm looking forward to seeing that in UNLV as they get ready to go on the road the next week in the Carrier Dome.
Folks, please do hit the thumbs up on this video if you like our content. And of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel for more Notre Dame football and recruiting videos. And if you want even more Notre Dame football coverage, $10 gets you premium blue and gold access through August 31st, 2023. $10. I mean, come on. That's a meal of Taco Bell for Mr. Singer. All right, Tim. Key number 3 is third down defense. And before we started recording, I'm like, Tim, wasn't that your key last week?
Yes.
And I mean, really, it comes down to running the ball and stopping the other team. I mean, that's football. But tell us key number 3 here.
Yeah, exactly. Amazing. You talk quarterback, O-line running the ball, and third down on defense getting off the field, right? The 3 tenets basically of winning football. But I said third down D again this week because they struggled last week. Tanner McKee and that offense had it going. A lot of efficient drives, moved the chains. Notre Dame, obviously, point-wise, they've held everybody they've played this year under their point average, held the team to 16 points, held them under 100 yards rushing, a lot of good things, that come from there. But the third down D, Notre Dame is only 70th in the country. The last 2 years with, they had Clark Lee a couple years ago and Marcus Freeman. They were last year number 10. With Clark Lee, I think they're 11 or 12. So they've been dominant third down defense. Could that have to be a lot to do with the gentleman playing with the Baltimore Ravens? Yes. But the fact that they're number, Kyle Hamilton for those out there, but they'll only be 70th. And then the big numbers, Mike, third down D. When I talk third down D, I'm just talking defense in general. 120th in turnover margin. I mean, we could talk about this till we're blue in the face. Turnovers, they're not getting them. But the red zone D, the very, very good the last few years with Clark Lee and Marcus Freeman, they're 129th this year. There's only 131 Division I football teams, 129th in red zone defense. And that stems from long drives we've seen this year, right? A lot of 70-plus yard drives. And that stems from getting off the field on third down. So third down D, go out, dominate this game on defense. Once again, get ready for that big game in the Carrier Dome the following week.
All right, so let's go to score prediction time, and we always bring up Odd Shark. And last week they had Notre Dame absolutely routing Stanford is like 48-9 or something like that.
Yeah.
That was one extreme. This one is maybe a little bit on the other extreme with Notre Dame, a team that's 3-3 against the spread, their same record. As their win-loss record. Same with UNLV. They're 4-3, but also 4-3 against the spread. So Odd Shark's algorithm says Notre Dame 34, UNLV 22. That would give UNLV the win against the spread there, and Notre Dame the loss. But obviously Notre Dame coming out on top of the win column, which is ultimately what matters. But you see the spread consensus. Notre Dame is a 25.5 point favorite, and the public actually likes Notre Dame to blow out UNLV. What say you, Tim? Do you like Notre Dame to cover?
What's that old saying, right? Fade the public if all the money's going on them, right, Mike? I look at this game real quick as I said earlier, win by 1. I don't care. Just get a W, Notre Dame. Notre Dame needs a win, and Marcus Freeman in this program needs a win. But very interesting stats real quick. UNLV's scoring average. I grew up with Lou Holtz and Bill Parcells in the 80s, two of my favorite coaches. Bill Parcells' famous quote is, "You are who you are." So UNLV's average this year, their average victory is by 2 points a game when you take all the games. Notre Dame this year, 2 points. How crazy is that going into this game?
Do you know what they're averaging points per game?
29-27 UNLV, and Notre Dame is 24-22. So I am going to go with our what is it, the Land Sharks or
Odd Shark?
Yeah, there you go. Odd Shark and Land Shark. Odd Shark. I love it. But I am going to stick with their prediction with UNLV 22. And like I said, you are who you are, as Bill Parcells says. I'm going to stick with Notre Dame. You're averaging 24 points. You're going to win this game. I'm going to go 24-22. Generic win. Take it. And boy, I hope it's not that close, Mike.
Did you just say 24-22?
I am just going with they are who they are after 6 games.
I can't believe I just heard Tim Hyde predict a 2-point win over UNLV. I'm going with the public. I'm going 41-14 Notre Dame.
I love it.
I'm going for a rout. UNLV is bad. they haven't played anyone except for Cal, who is what, the third worst team. Notre Dame's played. I mean, Notre Dame's played some good teams this season. They played Ohio State and BYU. In North Carolina, it's a one-loss team. So yeah, I like Notre Dame to dominate.
I love it. I was going to say my prediction, Mike, is just like I just want to see a Notre Dame victory. So I'm just going with their averages. Let's just get this thing over with and get to Syracuse.
All right, folks, please do hit the thumbs up. Catch us live right after the game, as Tim and myself will be live on YouTube to break it all down and discuss it. Appreciate you all for watching, and we'll catch you next time.